Ding. Come on, clicker. Okay. So different things happen in the show. Alice lands in this world, and she ends up running into the White Rabbit. The White Rabbit comes out of the lagoon, but the White Rabbit's done actually as a white fountain. So we're going to have your mind kind of get caught up in the show and use your imagination to paint the characters in new ways. We actually hit the back wall, and all the numbers from his clock go flying, and then the cards pop up, and we go into a big crazy card march. Another sequence is the whole flower garden. The flower garden is outrageous in this. The French team is working on this. One thing we did want to do is we wanted to change all the environments that the characters are in. It feels like Wonderland, it just has a different texture and feel across the board. And of course there's my favorite, the Cheshire Cat. Whee! We're going to show you a cool thing with this. We actually have the Cheshire Cat, and his body's going to be made out of water, and he'll appear and disappear. But we've been working with an artist up in LA called Megan Brain, and Megan Brain is a paper artist, and we basically went to her and said, hey, why don't we do some of your paper animation and put it into the show? We're doing a lot of little things like this. You're going to see new types of animation kind of brought in. It's very Fantasia in the way things are brought together. So here's our first test. Here's the Cheshire Cat. And kind of when you take paper and you give it to really great people, you can start to do really, really fun animation. What's going to be fun about him is he's actually going to be playing, the fountains play Pong with his head. That's what it's going to take months to program the show. Whee, whee, and of course, just like the cat, ding, 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 he'll disappear. Wow. So it's just one of those tests. I do have a new piece to show you. This is basically the opening and Alice coming into the world of Wonderland. This one's fantastic, actually. It's all in paper. That terrified everybody, didn't it? Hey, I was kidding. Moving on. So after we get out of the world of Alice, Alice's world is actually swept away. The wave comes in, we get swept away. There's a laser wave that comes out of it. And then we go into the world of the Little Mermaid. And the wave starts to take us under the sea. So it's just this beautiful kind of harmonic version of her song that just kind of puts us in this very different place for a while. Out of it comes Under the Sea. We're going to do a very fun version of Under the Sea with Sebastian and the gang and all the fountains that actually will do a conga line. This is one of those places that little Squirt comes in and he gets all the fountains to follow him. So it's splash, splash. And we're going to make the fountains be fun. We're going to make them really human-like. So when you get done with the show, you'll believe that they're actually real. There's people under there. So out of the end of this, we take you into the world of Crush. And Crush, ding. There we go. Oh, sorry. This is a version of the Little Mermaid. This is the original painting that Richard in our office did for the show. Richard did all the original art for the show. And what's great is it kind of sets the mood of it. We do have an effect in the show that we call the projection domes. Projection domes are domes that live under the water that will rise up. They have full integrated video. And we're going to tell stories on them. So this is kind of the first time they arrive. They might come out and be, ooh, I have a meeting. Don't you love that? I love Macintosh. Well, only me. So this is the first time they rise up. They'll turn into beautiful jellyfish, and then later on they become a myriad of other things. So here's the idea behind Crush. Crush is actually going to take us surfing on the EAC. It's a really great dramatic moment where all the fountains make the curve of the EAC, and he's actually going to come out of the middle of it. From here, ding, we end up with Marlin and Dory. And Marlin and Dory basically do a scene that we call Speak Whale. Oh, we love Marlin and Dory. Do you guys know this part where it's like, we need a boy? Yeah. You guys get it, right? Another great comedy interstitial. Again, Pixar's totally redone this animation for us. So basically, as Crush splashes out, we're left with Marlin and Dory, who are just kind of stuck there. They need to find his son. Of course, there's this giant whale that they're talking to. We're actually going to make the whale in water. I'm going to show you a little test of that in CGI. So So this is the whole idea, is you'll actually see them on the back wall. We'll have all the grid fountains come up. You'll see this giant blue object come across the lagoon. As it does, of course, it will become the whale, and of all the whale sounds, it will spout water. Whee! And as it dives underneath, we use all the fan jets, and of course its tail will splash away. So it's just imagination in water and how we kind of go and bring all that to life in a different way. The whales, of course, basically at the end of it, Dory calls the whales. The whales come, they're the whales from Fantasia 2000. We have all that footage. It's gorgeous on water. The blue really reacts well to the screens. So you're going to see them all breaching out of the water, interacting with the fountains. As they do, they take and they send us sailing off into the stars. But to get into the stars, we have this little fun piece that we're going to do. This is the original art that, again, we did for the original pitch of the show. We actually put all the domes up, and we're going to do this in the actual scene. We're going to make them into actual planets, and we're going to take all the LED lights and actually make kind of a sparkle tone, so it all kind of interacts with all the projection surface. So we'll make kind of a sea of stars that we're living in. So to get into the stars, we actually go up into the sky. We see Diana, and Diana's going to shoot a fantastic arrow across the sky, a comet, and it's going to take us into that world of Wally and Eve, where we're going to go into their kind of wonderful place. We did have a fun idea. We took the idea of Diana, so Diana's going to shoot that comet. The comet actually becomes Eve. It was kind of a fun thing to do with Pixar. We're kind of taking the world of Fantasia and the world of Pixar and kind of combining them together in kind of a fun shot. And again, this is kind of how all that begins, because now we have two different, we have feature animation and Pixar working together to make shots come to life. So we end up in the stars. There's a beautiful kind of sequence with Wally and Eve that's going to be just wonderful. That's all I can tell you. I won't tell you anymore. Oh, come on. Some stuff I have to leave for the show. So this is the actual kind of feel of it. It's going to be, again, just a sumptuous dream in color in the stars. Then magically we're going to end up in Andy's bedroom. Not telling you how. Coolest thing in the show, gotta come see the show. So we will end up in Andy's bedroom. We will run into Buzz and Woody actually on the bed. It's a very cool transition. And basically this is the whole scene where Woody basically says, you're a toy, you can't fly. Well, Buzz will fly. Buzz will become a giant ribbon of water and laser interaction. That's going to be this really kind of cool scene. There's an interesting part in that movie where when Buzz falls, Buzz closes his eyes. So I call it the 7 years in Lion King. So while his eyes are closed, we're going to do a whole kind of wonderful play on that with the water. So Buzz is now done in water and lasers, and at the very end you hear him say, to infinity and beyond, and the fountains are spiraling at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Maybe not that fast, but very close to 1,000,000 miles an hour. And then we're going to launch all the fountains up into the sky as we go to infinity and beyond. And at the very end, of course, the little green men appear and go, ooh. See, you laughed. It's good. Makes me feel good. So we're actually going to fly here when we get up into the stars. We go to infinity and beyond, and that takes us into the clouds. And the clouds takes us here. Music. Well, there was music on that clip. Too bad. No music. Oh well. There's a beautiful rendition of Whole New World that used to be on that clip I was going to play you. So just imagine it as I talk about it. So you're going to see Aladdin and Jasmine actually float out of the clouds, and as they do, this whole water ballet happens beneath them. And that's what's wonderful about the show, is it's very difficult to illustrate all the fountain moves. It doesn't work on paper that well. That's why we do a lot of it in CGI to figure it out. So again, as they fly, all the water interacts and it kind of becomes that ballet beneath their world. At the very end of it, you're going to see this beautiful moon appear, and they're going to fly off into that beautiful moon as we take the sequence and kind of button it. And everyone will go, oh, that's beautiful.